Christopher, hey, congratulations on your new film, Daft State.
I really appreciate that. Thank you, Gig.
I'm always amazed on how someone pulls this off, because it's so much emotion and so much energy put into this film. But let's start with that obligatory question. What initially drew you that you wanted to be part of this Daft State?
I mean, I think you just said it, right? What originally drew me to the script was this guy who, for the majority of the script, is alone and pushed, is raw, emotional. And I think really the challenge as an actor to be able to try to pull that off really drew me to the script. I mean, I think, all the elements of it were there, and could I do it? Was really the question of could I be that raw, that emotional? I mean, I cried more in this movie, I think, than I've cried in my entire life. So it was definitely a challenge to do.
So how did you get into the mental state of this character? Because this he you could I when I'm watching it and you're acting, I could feel that emotion and emotions flowing through the film.
Yeah, I think look, we've all been through things in our life that are hard and that are challenging or that are pushed to losses. And I really kind of tapped in on those and then allowed myself to just live in it. I mean, I think in our society, so many of the times when we're sad, we pull ourselves up and go, we're fine, we're fine, we're fine. And through the course of filming this movie, I just let myself feel all of the pain that I've been through and allowed myself to continue to sink. I don't think it was healthy for me mentally. I mean, I had a hard time going back to my hotel room and being alone, and even finishing the movie, the character stuck with me a lot longer than most projects do. Um, but I really just I wanted to feel what it felt like, right there, like in the world when you start to go spiral into the depths of darkness and depression and sadness. That's what Easton's going through, and I felt in order to portray that correctly, I had to feel the same thing. So I just let myself fall, and I was fortunate enough that through the cast to help pull me out of it, like in the movie and in reality, but also in real life, I'm surrounded by a lot of wonderful people who, once the movie ended, were able to pull me out as well.
I was about to ask you, is like at the end of the day, how do you shut that off? I mean, that's in its own way that could be pretty disturbing.
For sure, it was. I mean, I remember coming home, and we shot this just after COVID, so it's been a little while, and so my kids were a little smaller. And when I got home, they were like, "What's wrong with Daddy?" Like I just had a hard time separating from it. But I have an amazing wife and kids and people who look, I'm pretending, right? Like ultimately at the end of the day, my job is to pretend to do that. And you have to feel those things. So I have a leg up of knowing that it wasn't reality. That's not my life. But yeah, it's tough to separate for sure. And I think with every project, some are easier, but every project carries scars, or I carry a piece of every character with me, and Easton for sure.
Now, I've talked to numerous actors and numerous projects and so on, but it's very rare that an actor would be, I want to say, in more than 95% of the scenes in the film. And you were I mean I didn't calculate by the minutes or the seconds, but I want to say it's pretty close that you were in most of the scenes. Tell us about being on a project like that, and it's almost like the whole weight is really upon you for the whole movie.
Yeah, I mean, you don't really think about it while filming it, right? It's just you show up and you do your job. There were days where I think I worked every day on the shoot. I think there's only one scene that I'm not in. I mean, I think I'm in every frame of the movie other than one sequence. Look, you can't think about the weight of it, right? Like it's too big. It's something that could paralyze you as an actor. You just show up and you do your job and you stay present. I think one of the things being in every scene is that, and Chad would give me time, is I would prepare one scene at a time. So, I had a whole scope of the film going in, right? And I journal a lot and I write a lot of notes down. But then come shooting day, one scene at a time was all I could handle. And they were so raw and emotional. And then he would give me enough time to go look at the next one. And as the character kind of, I mean, by day one, by the end of day one, I was Easton. So the lines came to me quick. There were things that just happened, but it's just, you just show up and you try to stay present and you stay with the other actor and try to keep it real and not planned. And the thought of like, this movie's on me, it just didn't occur to me. It just wasn't something that I thought about.
So how do you connect emotionally with other cast members into this film? Because it seems like your character had to do that with every single character in this film.
Yeah, look, I think this movie was an interesting exercise in that because I felt very alone, right? Because of the character that I was in, I was isolated. I don't think I was as social or available through the course of shooting as I am on other projects, right? A lot of time just locked in my trailer and then go to set. Um, I think one exception was Karamu, who plays Brad, and I near the end as um, he continues to show up for Easton, his character. He also kept showing up for me as a human being, and that was something that a bond that occurred on camera and off camera that has built the a friendship for life. Um, I think one of the most interesting is all these scenes are one on ones, right? There's very few scenes where it's me and five people. It's me and one on one and relating them, and I think that was a special bond that each of us had as they were there for Easton and they were there for me and they showed up and brought 100% energy and talent and forgiveness and for my mistakes or errors in life and they were lovely to work with. Just everyone showed up and gave it their best every single day and that's all you can ask for and they're all extremely talented. It was a pleasure to work with all of them.
So what do you love about working on an indie project like this, particularly the fact that you had a wonderful support with your wife executive producing a film like this?
Yeah, look, I think today's movie industry is in such a unique place, right? That to get to the theaters, it's these tentpole movies, which all are fantastic, but there's also art that is out there in these lower, less seen streaming availabilities, right? You were inundated on Netflix with 100 different movies. I mean, for me personally, like I can scroll through it for an hour and never find what I want to watch just because like I can't decide, right? But these movies have such artistic and creative collaboration and love in making them. Like to make a movie like this, you have to want to make it. You have to want to be there and you have to want the best of it. And you bring all the limitations that come at you, whether it's financial or locations or things, you find a way to make it work. And so it's a really rewarding artistic experience to come show up and give everything you have on these movies because it's not the movie with 100 crew members, it's 7 crew members, so you get to know everyone like family and you end up knowing everybody's name and you give everything you have. And to me, that's why I got into the arts, was to be an artist and to be creative and to collaborate. Mira came on as an executive producer at the end of the movie, so she wasn't there at the beginning. But it's really cool now to share that with her and to have that, her input on the final outcome of the film.
Well said, well said. And I totally knew this film was like authentic as an indie project, especially the fact that somehow the production crew found a house that has an intercom and,
Yeah.
and,
Yes.
and utilize that into the film. I was going, gosh, because when I was growing up, my house back in the 80s had an
Yeah.
intercom.
Mine too. Mine too. The intercom that could go. I hadn't seen one since until I walked on set.
That is actually amazing. Well, Christopher, let me start wrapping things up because you're so amazing, and I want to say that you open, your performance. I want to say it's definitely going to open doors. So, what's up next with you at this point?
Well, first off, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. I have another film coming out December 13th called Dirty Angels that I did with Martin Campbell, director of Casino Royale, and co-star along Ava Green. And then I actually start a movie on Monday called Baggage Check with the director Melora Walters. So staying busy.
You know what? We all love staying busy. Christopher, thank you very much for speaking to us about Daft State. You've done wonderfully well, and like I said, the performance is so good you could actually feel it, and that's how we know it's a good performance.
I really appreciate that. Thank you very much. It means a lot to me. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Next time. Thank you.